The Hawks lose 3-2 in overtime to the Nashville Predators. There's some good, there's some bad, there's lots to get to on a CHGO Blackhawks postgame show. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks post-game podcast. I'm Zawaski with Greg Boysen. Mario Tirabassi will join us in a little bit from the United Center. Chloe Thiel is here running the show today. Welcoming Chloe back. It feels like I haven't seen her in a month. Thanks for being with us. Hawks lose 3-2 in OT to Nashville. And let's get right into it, man. Overtime in the NHL, 3-on-3. It's kind of a corn flip. A corn flip? A coin flip.
Cornflake?
A cornflake. It's a cornflake. Yes, I am hungry. And a coin flip. However, there's some things that went wrong in that final sequence. First of all, yes. Andre Burakovsky muscled off the puck by Filip Forsberg. He was on the ice too long. A, Burakovsky.
Yes.
B, he doesn't fight hard enough for the puck. And then you saw two young players, Nick Lardis and Artem Levshinov, kind of get mixed up in their signal. Levshinov went to chase his man, but it was probably a better decision in the moment to stay in front of the net and defend a little bit. And Lardis got crossed up there. So whatever it was, whoever's fault it was, a miscommunication, and you're going to give a 30-goal scorer in Filip Forsberg time to just walk out in front of the net and score. He's going to score every time.
Yeah, that was probably the worst combination to have Andre Burakovsky cough off the puck because you're dealing with two very young players who are coached in 3-on-3 overtime. You have your man, stick with your man. Well, in Lardis's case, his man was Brady Shea. Let Brady Shea beat you from the slot. Go get Filip Forsberg. So that's a teaching moment right there. That's going to be something they're going to look at in video and go, okay, I know, Nick, that you're responsible for this guy, but in those situations, games on the line, it's okay. We're not going to yell at you if you go and get the 35-goal scorer and let the defenseman with 6 goals open. And if he beats you, so be it.
Yeah.
But as you said, Burakovsky starts the overtime. We're over a minute into the overtime. He had a chance to get off the ice. He didn't. Goes and plays the puck behind the net. Filip Forsberg, one hand, just pushes him off the puck, and that's your ball game right there. And there's a lot of Burakovsky stuff today. We're both tired of it.
Yeah. Everybody is.
Yeah, we're home of the Andre Burakovsky fan club based on the comments.
Yeah,
enough is enough, and we're going to get into it later about...
Second segment, we'll talk about that and the Anton Frondell effect and how it could be changing.
Right. So, it's... We can even talk about my theory that I have of why he keeps playing Andre Burakovsky. Well, I told you it earlier.
Oh, that theory.
Yeah, that theory.
Okay.
Yeah. So, just one of those situations where two young guys out there against three veterans and, learning moments. Those are moments that, hopefully the next time they get in a situation like that, they learn from that and they go pick up Forsberg. Blackhawks had plenty of chances to win that game before it even got to overtime. They were, moments before that, Bedard, it just gets off an absolute laser that hits off the knob of the stick. How many times this year has that happened?
Not only this year, he's done it his entire career where the knob of the goalie stick will just catch a little piece of the goal. That would have been a sure goal. That's happened to him so many times, and the shot was so hard that it made Saros drop his stick.
Yeah. Well,
that was the velocity of the puck.
I'm sure that's sent you ever hit a foul ball on a cold day with an aluminum bat and your hands sting? I guarantee you that's what Juicy Saros was feeling after that he probably felt that all the way up his shoulder.
Well, let's use that as a jumping off line because as the third period was beginning, you said to me, like, let's see how they close this game out, because they had success against Minnesota, and they learned that, keeping the foot on the gas leads to success. When you play the opposite way, where you sit back waiting to lose, hoping you don't lose, trying to be super, super careful, you almost inevitably lose. I thought again today they stayed on the attack. Now they took two penalties, which set it back a little bit. But overall, I was very pleased with the way the Hawks played this game from start to finish, and in the third period. I do not think they sat back and waited for Nashville to come and win this game.
No, absolutely not. At 5-on-5, they had a 14-5 advantage in shot attempts. They had a 6-3 advantage in shots, 8-3 advantage in scoring chances, and just the one high danger chance. But that, again, I think too many times this season, and it's our job. We cover every game, all 82, so we have to get granular and get in the weeds and talk about every game. I don't think we pull back and look big picture quite enough. And this season, from start to finish, is all about big picture.
Yeah.
While we sit there and we break down every single game, big picture wise, you're starting to see things that are very positive. That Minnesota game, I said that was the best third period the Hawks have played all season, just because they were up 2-1 and they didn't play on their heels. They went for that third goal. They didn't get it, but because of the way they played, they won that game.
Yeah.
They did the same thing here today, except they weren't able, in the end you lose in overtime, but it wasn't because you sat back and played prevent defense, what they've done so many other times this year.
Yeah.
We talked about those 9 games where they gave up the game losing or game tying goal in the final 4 minutes. That's because they start playing tentative, and we just got to hold on any way possible. Now they say, screw it, we need a third goal if we're going to win, because 9 times out of 10, you need a third goal if you're going to win.
Yes.
So these last 2 third periods with leads are encouraging. So when you pull back big picture, these are the things you want to see. That department has gotten much better from where this team was at the beginning of the year. Even at the beginning of 2026, the calendar year, you're seeing the improvements there. So when we get to the end of the year, you could say, okay, fine, they were in last place in the Central Division again. Okay, but are they a better hockey team in April than they were in October?
No doubt.
And that has been the most important thing for this season. Standings be damned. Yes, they're going to finish with more points than they did last year. Awesome. But are they a better team now than they were at the start of the year? And that is 100% yes. So in my eyes, successful season, and we're going to get 2 new young kids in here for the last few games, and that's only going to amp up the excitement and get things feeling good again. This, point-wise, I know people are frustrated. They're not contending for a playoff spot. We broke it down in the last post-game show how close they are to actually being contending for a playoff spot. You got to pull back to the big picture, zoom out a little bit, and you realize that this is a successful season.
Well, you look at not just the team performance too, but if you go individual by individual, pretty much every player that you're looking at and saying, this guy is going to be part of things when the Hawks are good again, when they're a playoff team again, when they're maybe a cup contender again, all of them have taken steps forward. All of them. I think some people would maybe take issue with Alex Vlasic, saying that he's not taking a step forward and maybe he's just kind of leveled out and hasn't really had much of an improvement. But I will say, I feel like since they traded Murphy, for whatever reason, Vlasic has been a lot more active offensively, a little more confident in playing the puck, carrying it from end to end. And I've seen that part of his game added a little bit. We still want to see physicality added. I don't know if it will ever come. I joked to you in the first period, they showed a montage of Alex Vlasic with some rock song called Shutdown I'd never heard before. But I'm like, it's a feature on your shutdown defenseman. There's not a single hit in the video. It's all, it's all shots on goal and him smiling and stuff like that, which is great. But like,
hey, it's 90 seconds of his reach.
But if the worst thing is that Alex Vlasic is just kind of stagnated right now, okay, you think it's a pretty successful season. The other thing too, you mentioned about, you're about to add Frondell, you're about to add Boisvert. That replaces Dominic Toninato and it replaces Sam Lafferty. And you're going to have guys now who, when you need that third goal, especially with Frondell, someone you can put out there that can actually maybe get it. right? I mean, I don't know how they didn't score on that net front chance where Bertuzzi was and Nazar were swatting at it. There was another setup where Connor Bedard, I forget who it was. Was it Haig maybe, that he walked around and fed it to Bertuzzi right in front and his stick got tied up. Like, they had their opportunities to tie this game and it just didn't bounce their way. But now you're going to add 2 first-round picks in Frondell and Boisvert, and that's just natural ability. And look, we don't know what Boisvert's NHL ceiling is. We have no idea what he's going to look like because 2 years ago he looks like one of the best players in college. This year he looks not good at all. So what's he going to be as a pro? I do know that shot he has is NHL level and NHL caliber, and it's going to be anything better than you get from Toninato and Lafferty. No offense to those guys, but like,
yeah, no, it will be, but and credit, got to give credit where credit is due. The Toninato Lafferty line was very effective today in the little bit that they played.
They had good fourth line impact.
Yes.
After the goal you mentioned, they put them out there on the ice, and then they've got Nashville pinned deep for about 30, 35 seconds.
And they had a couple of those shifts in the first period too early in the game.
And Slaggert saved an icing earlier in the game. Like, there were a lot of nice little plays.
That being said, I'm glad that those guys will be heading out of the lineup here real soon for first place first round draft picks. So that's exciting, and Frondell. We'll talk to him talk more about him after the break. But this is a big deal to get him here and playing right away. This is a guy that gonna have some pressure on him. Let's see how he adapts to that and responds to that.
Seems like a kid who welcomes pressure. We'll find out. Why don't we hear from Alex Vlasic? He spoke after the game. We're going to hear from Nick Lardis a little bit later on, too. We'll hear from Vlasic, and then we'll nominate our Game Puck nominees.
This one looks like you guys did a good amount right in this one.
Yeah, I think we just kind of talked about our energy level was there. We were competing a lot harder than the other night. Gave up a few too many chances, and they're obviously a good team, and we just got to minimize some of those plays that they were able to make.
After Grzelcyk went down, all the D played a ton of minutes. How did you guys handle it?
I thought everybody did a great job. Yeah, it was never easy to lose a guy like that. Minutes wise, but also just within the locker room, he's a big part of our team. So to have him go down was a tough loss, but I thought everybody did a great job of stepping up.
I know you guys are never looking for some 18-year-old to come in here and save the day, but how excited are you to see what Anton Frondell can do?
Yeah, I heard a lot about him. Seen he's a really good player, so he'll definitely be able to bring some excitement, and he seems pretty lethal with the puck. So yeah, we're pumped to get him, and hopefully have a great stretch down the end here.
What have you made of skating in a pair with Levshunov for these games?
Yeah, he's been great. I think he's been playing some really good hockey. I think he's been playing hard, playing good defense first, and we've been having some success. So it's been fun, and he's full of energy. He's a great person. So for me, it's been a fun opportunity to play with him.
Has it been tough to swallow some of the overtime shootout losses this year? I think that's 13 of them, and certainly an area where the record hasn't been great.
Yeah, it feels like we've been to overtime quite a bit this year. I think we got to figure out, the games that we're leading in, going into the third period, towards the end of the third period, we got to find a way to close those out. And then the ones that we end up tying, we got to figure out a way to, win in overtime or win in a shootout. It's, everybody's got a great three-man roster every time they're rolling out three guys. So, whatever it is, we gotta make sure that we're capitalizing on those chances to get the extra point.
All right, that was Alex Vlasic after the Hawks' overtime loss to the Nashville Predators. We are going to give you our Game Puck nominees here in a second, but I did send the overtime play to our pal Petey and said, what are you seeing here? Who do you blame on this one, aside from Burakovsky behind the net? He said, Levshunov can't go. He has to hold the near side post. He can't allow Forsberg to just walk out. You nailed it on the original mistake. The turnover is the first mistake, but you can't make a second one. Lardis actually does a good job. He holds the post until Forsberg goes to the other side. Then he flexes out to the slot. Levshunov has to play that like a 2-1-1 stick in the lane to deny the pass to the slot, but his body has to hold the post and not allow Forsberg to walk out. So there you go. There's our Steve Peters, our former ALLCITY video analyst, ESPN video analyst inside the coach's room, given his take on it. So, yeah, 2 young players getting crossed up on a confusing play.
Because a veteran is soft on the puck.
Correct. All right, time to give you our Game Day Men's Health Game Puck nominees. Better father, better husband, better man. Go to Game Day Men's Health. Visit GameDayCHGO.com to find locations closest to you. Nominee number 1, Connor Bedard with his 29th goal of the season. 4 shots on goal, 6 shot attempts, 1-7 and lost 8 faceoffs. That's 47% from the dot. Nick Lardis scored a goal, had 2 shots, had 2 hits. Was also, according to Hockey Stat Cards, the highest rated Hawk of the game with a 1.79 game score. Want to guess who was worst? Don't think too hard.
Is it Andre Burakovsky?
It sure is.
But our coach said he played really good
with
today,
a minus 1.4 game score. And our third nominee, Artem Levshunov, 24-27 of ice time, a shot, 4 shot attempts, and 5 hits. Both those guys, Lardis and Levshunov, crossed up on the last play. But overall, I think that 55 has been really playing with a lot of confidence lately. I think you're seeing his confidence with the puck. You're seeing that he makes better decisions when to stay, when to go, when to retreat. You're not seeing him make those. Sure, there's still, when you play 25 minutes a game, there's going to be those turnovers that happen during the course of a game. You want to minimize those, of course, but he just looks way more loose on the ice and like he's really sort of believing in his game for the first time in a while here.
Yeah, I think so. He's relying more on his instincts, and you can do that when you have the confidence. You're not thinking as much, you're just reacting, and that's what you want. The thing that I've liked the most from him the last few games since the Olympic break is he's realizing that he's a lot bigger than most of the players out there, and you're starting to get a little more of that
physicality,
that physical
5 hits. Yep,
you're starting to get a little meanness out of him, and like the last thing you think of with Artie Levshunov is that he's mean, but he has a little snarl. There have been times this year where it's like he hits somebody and right away it's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry," but no, don't apologize.
He was a physical player at Michigan State. There's no doubt about that.
Well, you have to be a physical player in college, or you're going to get eaten alive. That's a different style of game, but I like that you're starting to see that aspect of his game come in too. So you're starting to round in a little bit of everything of why he was taken where he was taken. So, it's an encouraging stretch of games for Levshunov. Not perfect by any means, but a rookie defenseman is never perfect. I'm sure Matthew Schaefer, as great as he's been, because all we see is the goal highlights from Matthew Schaefer. I'm sure Matthew Schaefer has misread plenty of plays this year that have led to bad things against the Islanders. Rookie defensemen make mistakes.
Wyatt Kaiser had a tough game today too, turnover-wise. It's going to happen for young defensemen. It just does. And Matt Grzelcyk, who left the game in the first period, injury update here, will not make the upcoming 4-game road trip for the Hawks. So seemingly like a pretty decent injury. Very weird. Net front scrum, and he kind of extended the arms and then grabbed his arm and had it kind of held to be helped off the ice.
Looked like something
popped
or tore, maybe tore a pec.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll get, but listen, Kevin Korchinski's probably getting a call just to make sure Anton Frondell can't wear 14 when he gets here, I guess.
15 Frondell. It's available.
Sure. It's a chance now. Ethan Del Mastro now gets to be in there, and they'll likely call Kevin Korchinski at this point, unless they just want to keep him playing in Rockford. But why at this point? Yeah. Rockford's done. They're not making the playoffs. Get them up here and let them play. If you want to give another guy a night off every once in a while, or let Del Mastro and Korchinski kind of start their training camp battle now and maybe play them every other. I know they're different types of players, so it's not like taking one out and swapping in the other gives you the same look, but let them go start their trial, because the last defensive spot on opening night roster is going to come down to those two guys.
Yes, it is.
So let them start their tryout now.
Kevin Korchinski, this is his, like, this and training camp next year are his last chances here.
If he's at,
because if they re-sign him and he comes to camp and doesn't make a team, he's got to clear waivers, which means the Hawks will probably try to trade him. So
yeah,
we'll see. All right, we got to hit the break zone. We're super late for it. We'll be back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. In the meantime, hit that like button for us. Good, better, best. Chicago is home to that amazing 3-word slogan. And Bet365 has one of their own early payout offer. Here's how it works. If your team goes up 10 points at any point in the game, they'll pay you out right there on the spot. It's awesome. Bet365, where winning is everything. Bet365 is currently running their Bet $5, get $150 promo. Any new Bet365 user will get $150 in bonus bets after depositing $10 and making their first $5 bet. Download the app, use our code CHGO365 at sign up today. Bet365, where winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Illinois. $10 minimum deposit required. Bonus bet wager excluded from returns. New customers only. 21 plus only. Time limits, minimum odds, and terms and conditions apply. In-app only. And this offer is void where prohibited. And what if you could have dependable, reliable internet? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 dang years? That is the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even know they have it. That is Wi-Fi with a 6th sense, and that lets you stream the game even when the whole family is online with their Fortnites and their Mario Karts. All your devices working together in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And the best part, no annual contract, no hidden fees, and you'll get Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from us, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won. Records are broken. Prospects make their debut, but your Wi-Fi should stay reliable and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. This is available on select plans only and restrictions apply. All right, we're back on CHGO Blackhawks. Got some super chats we want to knock out before we lose track of those because I often do that. Let's do $10 from Jax of all time. Says not to beat on a dead horse, but
beat it.
Can any of you guys give a genuine reason as to why Burakovsky was started in overtime? What could have he possibly done to earn that spot or deserve that
I literally
spot?
turned to Jay when I saw that and go, why is Burakovsky starting overtime?
I don't know. I don't understand. And Jeff Blashill, little teaser here. I can see Mario is sending in the postgame video, and Blashill's going to talk about Burakovsky. I can't wait to hear it. I'm so tired of hearing about these internal statistics and, we've got the chance to
2
generate.
goals in the last 33 games, 1 assist in the last 26 games. F your internal stats.
Yeah, they're bad.
The guy sucks.
Then your internal stats need to be reevaluated.
He's got 1 assist in 26 games playing with Connor Bedard. He sucks.
How is that possible?
Period. End of story.
I feel like if you put me on the ice for 30 games and I was just kind of like penguin waddling around the ice, eventually I could get a puck and advance it towards Connor Bedard and he would put it in the net at some point. You would think that would happen. Look, do I think Andrei Burakovsky is this bad of a player? No, but he's effing broken right now, and clearly keeping him on the top line and giving him top 6 minutes is not solving the problem. It's not. Like, you're beating your head against a brick wall for what? Why? All right.
I don't know.
More super chats. Let's go.
More Andrei Burakovsky questions.
Yes. Louis for $5 says Blashill keeps defending the first line and doubles down on it. It's nice to give chances, but my guy, Burakovsky is making Blashill look like an idiot.
It's hard to argue with that.
B87GT says Burakovsky is that coworker that constantly screws up, yet somehow keeps getting promoted. No comment. Aaron Jordan, $5.
I've never worked with anybody like that.
Vlasic, he's
never.
getting better. His puck moving has improved, and I've noticed that he's clearing in front of the net much more than he used to.
One thing about Vlasic, I know people, and we talked about it, and I know people say, oh, he's regressed this year. I don't know if he's regressed necessarily. I just think maybe because guys like Kaiser have taken such a jump forward that it just seems that like Vlasic hasn't gotten much better, where he's kind of been the same guy, but some of the guys around him are better, so it doesn't make Vlasic look maybe stand out as much as he used to.
I think that he's doing a lot of the little things correctly. He was the team leader. Oh, hold on. Refresh my stats here. Never mind. Where was he in metrics? He was like right over 50%. Nothing crazy. But I just think that Vlasic is going to be the new Connor Murphy. and hopefully he can add the physicality that Murphy had. That would be nice.
Yeah.
But in terms of like little thing, stuff that it doesn't show up in the natural stat trick or in the stat sheets or whatever. Maybe if you get really granular, you start to find the impact there. But he's a good player. He's going to be a middle pair guy for this team. You could do a hell of a lot worse. Lixa, I don't know. $20 Canadian says, Jeff Blashill, bad hockey coach. Hawks have been the worst team in the league in every metric worth a damn since opening night, with only shooting percentage and save percentage providing the temporary illusion of competence. And he says, can this bum?
I mean, I guess penalty kill isn't an important statistic.
No.
Because they've been first or second for the last 3 months there. Thanks for your donation for useless Canadian money.
Hey, our money's going to be useless soon, too. And Sam, for $2, says, Burakovsky better not get top line time over Frondell. And that will lead us to our Anton Frondell conversation. Frank Saravalli on the pregame show today said he's expected to fly in from Sweden Monday or Tuesday if the flight is tomorrow. Tuesday against the Islanders is on the table. If not, it's very likely he'll make his debut Thursday against the Flyers. If you missed it, he does not have to go through the same visa process that Sasha Boisvert does, because as soon as he signed his contract back in July, that whole process was taken care of immediately. So as soon as he lands in Chicago, theoretically he could walk off the plane and onto the ice and play for the Blackhawks.
Yes.
And I think, do we have the video from pregame, Chloe, where he was asked about Frondell? Jeff Blashill, maybe, just maybe, knowing the question was coming, alluding to a potential change at the top of the lineup here. Here's what he had to say pregame.
Someone in his situation, are you a throw a guy into the fire kind of coach, or are you an ease him in kind of coach?
Probably in his situation, based on the level of play he's had all year, how well he's played the last part of the year, the fact there's zero practice time at this time of year, I'm going to throw him into the fire kind of coach. But not always. It's all situational. But in this one, he's going to get thrown in the fire.
Given the type of skill set he has and kind of profile he is as a player, I know you want to see him on the ice, but is there a temptation to throw him into the fire and put him with Bedard?
He'll be with a good player, for sure.
All right, so that's not saying Connor Bedard for sure, but he'll be with a good player. So now all the guys he's not with are bad. Hey, you said he'd be with a good player. Why is he not with Frank Nazar, Jeff? What's his corner him and make him feel bad?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think he's probably gotten a message, Jeff Blashill, from the front office saying, hey, when Anton Frondell gets here, he's playing in the top line. I don't care. Like, he wasn't drafted to come here and learn his lessons on how to produce when you're not playing with good players on the fourth line.
Nope.
He is here to be Connor Bedard's running mate.
Yep.
He was drafted to be the next guy that Blackhawk fans have been screaming about since Bedard was drafted. You got to get Connor Bedard help. That is Anton Frondell, and he better be giving him the help he needs from shift number one.
I agree.
And that's, Anton Frondell, not to put any more pressure on this kid, is the most important player of Kyle Davidson's draft history as far as hitting. Because if Anton Frondell turns out to be Kirby Doc, knock on wood, and busts out at number 3 overall, this rebuild is in trouble.
Yeah, true.
The success of the rebuild doesn't hinge solely on Anton Frondell being a star, but if he isn't, it's certainly not in a good place. So this is a very important piece to this puzzle, is Anton Frondell being the player you envisioned him to be, and being that player relatively quick, and playing 7 minutes on a fourth line with Sam Lafferty. Stick it up your moon. Like, yes. I don't want to see that, and you're not going to see that. My theory that I came up with earlier on why Jeff Blashill keeps playing Andre Burakovsky top line and not budging is, I think, I'm going to preface this. This is sarcasm, folks. Even though people will probably clip it and take it out of context.
I'll clip it.
I.e. Chloe. What if Jeff Blashill, being the evil genius that he is, says, you know what? I don't want to put Nick Lardis on the top line because if Nick Lardis goes on the top line and goes on a heater, I can't take him off the top line to put Anton Frondell there. So if Burakovsky keeps stinking out the joint on the top line, everybody will think I'm a hero by putting Frondell there when he gets there. How about that?
I'm in on that. People are taking issue with you, by the way, saying that Levchinov is more important than Frondell. I think that there is a decent argument to that. I just think the Hawks have a lot more NHL-ready defensemen than they have top 6 forwards. Because even when you look at, like, aside from Frondell, who's coming in the pipeline, it's Kancherov, who you feel like should probably be top 6. But then it's like Spellacy and Mason West and
and those are more
Jack Pridham and like
those are more role player.
But you probably can't pencil them in to be what you think Frondell is going to be. But it's a good conversation to have for another day. Here's my prediction: your top line Tuesday or Thursday will be Connor Bedard, Anton Frondell, and Andre Burakovsky. If that happens, I'm going to take a special trip to drive here. Since I'm not on road games, just to kick you in the nuts. Me, I didn't. I'm not saying it should be.
You put it on. You put it out in the universe. We all know Blash listens to every episode. He's going to say, "Oh, that's Zawaski with another great idea."
For the record, that's not what I want to happen. I am predicting that's what will happen.
There's no way you could take Ryan Green away from Connor Bedard.
Yes, you can, because you apparently have to keep Andre Burakovsky on the top line.
It's Ryan Green is the one picking up all the points playing with Connor Bedard.
Well, but the internal metrics say that Andre Burakovsky actually, despite the other 2 guys on the line getting the points, that Burakovsky is actually the best player on the Hawks. Apparently, that's what the internal stats say. It's like, look at this guy. He's prime Mario Lemieux. Don't pay attention to the actual numbers that matter. Puck going in net as a result of number 28. No. If you dig really deep and granularly, he's really been awesome. Off. 4th line at best. Frondell, Green, Bedard, give it to me.
There you go.
Let's go.
Keep the second line where it is.
Good Lord.
If we'll hear about Blashill, Blashill's going to talk about Burakovsky. We'll hear about it. If he's going to credit the good defensive plays he made today, which he did, he made a couple, then fine.
He made the Nashville make a bunch of good defensive plays, too. He was helpful for both teams.
They didn't make any plays. They just stood there and give him the puck. If you're going to credit his play in the neutral zone and some defensive plays he made, fine. Then play him with Ryan Donato and Mikheyev on that third line.
Forward with a little bit of offensive upside.
There you go. And then, your 4th line could be Boisvert and Slaggert and I don't know, forget who I'm missing here. Tavo or
Burakovsky, Donato.
Put Donato down there and you have Tavo, Burakovsky, and Mikheyev.
Sure. Fine.
Whatever. Just get him off the top 6.
Great.
Enough is enough. Again, internal metrics, all that, blah, blah, blah. 2 goals in 33 games, 1 goal in 26. All the fancy stats in the world.
5 turnovers tonight.
All the fancy stats in the world don't matter. It comes down to how many pucks you put in the net. He is not creating goals.
No, he's not.
He's literally creating goals for the opposition,
team.
not for the team he plays for. Enough is enough.
100%. All right, break zone time. Mario is standing by. We'll talk to him in a moment. Our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your soon-to-be-here baseball season. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They've got a great selection with over 100 different strains to choose from with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. I know going to a dispensary can be intimidating. Maybe you've never been before. You're not really sure what to do. The folks at Sunnyside are going to steer you in the right direction. You're going to get exactly the experience you seek, so you'll go back again and again. Wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. Spots as far south as Champaign and as far north as South Beloit. Stop in to the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff. Head to their website for only the best under the sun, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases with our code HICHGO at checkout. Enter that to qualify. Sunnyside Dispensary, only the best under the sun, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. And there is nothing better than going to a hockey game, an NHL game, and there's no better place to get those tickets than Game Time. The Game Time app gives the advantage back to you, the hockey fan. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's super easy to use, and the game time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. You want to go to the PWHL game on Wednesday coming up? Game time, that's where you go. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you get, and you want to see what those views are from your seat. You want to make sure you're seeing the puck at all times. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use our code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account with our code CHGO for $20 off. Go see some hockey. Download the Game Time app today. All right, we are back on CHGO Blackhawks. Before we get to Mario and hear from Jeff Blashill, which is going to enrage some people, we got to hit our Checking It Out segment sponsored by Old National Bank. Every play matters, whether it's on the field or in your financial life. The best teams win by delivering excellence at every level. Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Member FDIC. Ben Pope of the Sun-Times pointing this out. Ice time with Matt Grzelcyk out today. 26:34 for Alex Vlasic. 24:47 for Artem Levshov. 23:02 for Wyatt Kaiser. 21:44 for Sam Renzel. And 18:03 for Louis Crevier. I wonder if Crevier's maybe not still feeling 100%. Thought he played pretty well in his 18 minutes of ice time.
Well, he also spent 2 minutes in the penalty box, too, so that took away some playing time.
But I thought, I think he's looked good lately, too. I think Renzel's looked really confident. We've talked about Levshov looking decisive with the puck. Renzel's got that confidence going, too. I saw a lot of plays where he had the puck along the boards, would get pressured, and would sort of spin out of the pressure and put the puck right on the tape to start an outlet pass. Renzel is starting to look like the guy we saw at the end of last year, which is good and encouraging.
Yeah, he's a guy that struggled early, got sent to Rockford, and that time on Rockford looks like it's done its job because it's come back a different player, much like with Wyatt Kaiser last year.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the United Center and bring in Mario Tirabassi, who is covering the postgame. We got to get right to this. We're seeing the quotes roll in about the plan, Ryan Green, that sort of stuff. You want to break the news to the people so I'm not the bad guy?
What do you want to hear him say first? His evaluation of Andrei Burakovsky or his evaluation of Ryan Green, where he drops a hint that is going to make everyone upset?
Yeah, let's get people mad first, and then let's do the Green one first. Here we go.
All right, here's what he had to say about Ryan Green.
Well, it's interesting, right? Like, you get a chance every day to kind of, build your resume, and he's done a good job of building that in a positive fashion. And, what he is he's not chaotic in his game. His game's pretty calm, and he's pretty smart. So I think that helps him play with a guy like with Connor, because he can kind of read off him, and he doesn't have a lot of just crazy moments. He just plays a pretty, I don't want to say simple game, but it's simple enough, but yet can make a pass and can make a good feed in those situations. And he's pretty good defensively. So he's been a good. We'll see where it goes. At some point, I may have to try him out at center a little bit more as this kind of keeps going through the year and the last whatever games we have left. But he's done a good job kind of being a good complementary player in the top line.
So if he's playing center, that means Andrei Burakovsky is staying on the top line, as I predicted 6 minutes ago.
I share the same frustrations you guys do since I've been listening, and same frustrations everyone listening, watching, in the chat, listening on the podcast, at home, all of that. I share all the same frustrations, and I'm just confused how you can compliment Ryan Green and the season that he's been having and the style that he plays and call it not chaotic, call it straightforward. Blashill's complimented Ryan Green of being a very smart player, a very cerebral player that plays well with Connor Bedard, and then lay the foundation that we're going to move him off of Connor Bedard's wing. I do not understand the justification of that. I don't.
Well, let me say this, and this has been my aggravation with it all year. And look, I understand that Andre Burakovsky is kind of you can't do a ton with him. He is an offensive player, right?
Is he though?
But you have spent from the first moment your skates hit the ice at training camp, accountability, expectation, winning hockey. That has been his catchphrase. If it's good, better, best for Ben Johnson, it is winning hockey for Jeff Blashill. And yet, you've got Burakovsky. Take the stats aside and say, hey, man, he's having trouble scoring, but we like what we see. I could live with if everything else was going fine. Right? Great. 4 offensive zone turnovers today. Unforced errors.
3 in the first period.
Drop passes to nobody. He's out there seeing ghosts, and he is costing your team games. He cost the team the game in overtime today. There's no other way to look at it. He's got to win a puck battle against Philip Forsberg. And don't get me wrong, Philip Forsberg is a great player, really good hockey player. He's not Eric Lindros. He's not, he's not a giant hulking forward that you just can't knock off the puck. He's Philip Forsberg. Recognize the situation and win the effing battle.
He got distracted by his mustache.
But it's like, so when you have the same guy making the same mistake night after night after night after night with no consequence, you have to imagine other guys on the team are like, what the hell? And Ryan Green hears, oh, yeah, well, cool, I get to play center. I'm a third line now. Now Ryan Green's going to get third line minutes because all he's done is his job plus playing on the first line with Connor Bedard. He's picking up points. He's scoring goals. He's playing responsibly. He's not turning the puck over. So he gets sent to the third line so Burakovsky can sit there and do the same crap night after night after night. Make it make sense. Make it make sense to me. It's preposterous. And Dave in the chat says, quit moaning. He'll be bought out after this season. I don't care. What I care about is the impact this has on the other guys on the team who look at this and say, what the hell? I'm out here giving everything I've got. Maybe I don't have the natural ability of Andre Burakovsky, the speed, the hands, the ability to rush the puck. Maybe I don't, but at least I'm not hurting the team. I'm going out there doing things I can do. Ethan Del Mastro, not a forward, I understand, but Ethan Del Mastro goes out last game, leads the team in hits, is doing everything they ask him to do, and he sits tonight. Meanwhile, 28 is still up there, getting top 6 minutes in power play time, doing nothing. Doing nothing. I get it. Does it matter? No, they're not making the playoffs. What I worry about is the impact it has on the young players who are like, why is it different rules for Andre Burakovsky and everybody else? That sucks. Everyone's been on a team like that or worked in an office like that where there's one guy who everyone's like, what is this guy doing? What does he do here? We've all worked with that guy, and it is frustrating as hell. And I don't know, man. I'm so tired of talking about it, but every night it becomes a story because every night he's doing something that costs the Hawks.
Well, you said he's playing with Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard, undisputed best player on this hockey team, right? What do 4 offensive zone turnovers help you when you're playing with your team's best player? That is 4 less shifts that he gets a chance to even touch the puck. It's frustrating. And you're right. Ryan Green does everything correctly, has a nice assist, and go win some faceoffs, kid.
Yeah, go grind. Okay.
Well, let's hear Jeff Blashill's assessment of Andre Burakovsky then off the top of that so he can defend himself, quote unquote.
Listen, we need production out of him. We all get that. He gets that. Sometimes you don't totally control that. I thought his effort's been great, and I thought he played with confidence tonight. Sometimes you see a guy out there, you can tell he doesn't have confidence. He looks like he has confidence, but he's certainly snake bitten. I would say historically it says if he keeps getting those chances that it'll happen for him because historically he's a better point producer than what he's been in the last stretch. We'll see.
Again, I can live with snake bit. I can live with a guy who's getting chances and not scoring. I get that. It happens. Guys go through season-long slumps. I get it. He is single-handedly costing your team shifts and costing your team games. That's not being snake bit. That's not having no puck luck. That is effing up and losing points.
But
I'm sorry,
but
man.
he's confident, though, Jay. He's confident.
Okay, great.
He's confident at effing up.
He led the team in shots today. He had 4 shots on goal. He's had 2 breakaways in the last 2 games. Great. All that would be fine if it wasn't for the myriad turnovers that happen every night. Every night.
Yep. It's been a long time since Andrei Burakovsky has been a guy that has been what we were hoping he would be since he got to the team. And I think we looked at, the time he spent in Colorado and won the Stanley Cup there and had a career high in points and everything. And Colorado's cup winning team is not this Blackhawks team. But you look at how he played in Seattle when he was there, dealt with some injuries. The way he started this season, I think we were expecting that, those struggles in Seattle to kind of be behind him. But he got off to a really good start and then had some injuries of his own. Comes back, he's expanded his family. That's an off ice thing that can throw throw your life outside of hockey into a different spot. That's one thing to deal with, but this is still, you got to be able to come in and do your job. And I think for Burakovsky, his job is to produce, and that's, Jeff Blashill just said it. And it's been 2 points that he's put up on the board since January 9th, back when I was still 35 years old. That's not enough production to warrant still being next to the best player on the team, and getting those opportunities and getting on the power play. And we did see right before the Olympic break him go down to the third line in the lineup. I think it was 2 or 3 games before the Olympic break. Once when that stretch of struggle was happening, he got, put down the lineup. But then once practices resumed, while the Olympics were still going on, it was Burakovsky right back to the top line. And even at that point, a month ago, we were all confused as to, why? What is the process of putting him back in that spot? And Blashill kind of laid it out there. Without saying it, he is continuing to bet on Burakovsky that by playing him in the role that he's quote unquote supposed to be in, he'll eventually find that form again. And it's just continually placing the same bet over and over and over again, thinking you're going to win. It's playing roulette and just saying, I'm going to bet on black, and it's still red every single time. You're like, well, eventually it'll be black, but it's been red every single time. I don't want to be against Andrei Burakovsky. I want to root for him when he's playing at his best. This team is obviously better. Look at how they played in October and November, when he had that form, but he hasn't been that player for 2/3 of the season. And now you have a guy coming in Anton Frondell, who, Burakovsky's a big body. Frondell's a big body. Burakovsky is supposed to be an offensive point producer. I don't think anyone has any doubts that Anton Frondell is going to be an offensive point producer. That's a guy that you can plug into your top 6 for a player you're taking out of your top 6, or you could take out of your top 6, and you'd actually, in my opinion, improve the team and improve the lineup by making that move. And it just does not seem, if I'm reading all the tea leaves and all the cards and all the cues, that's not going to be at least how things start once Frondell gets to town.
All right. Can we punt on the Burakovsky conversation? Because there was other stuff that happened, and I'm bummed that we spent 40 minutes on Andrei Burakovsky because it just doesn't justify it. But it's on everybody's mind. It's I don't know. At this point, it doesn't even warrant conversation because it's not going to change. So we'll see. Nick Lardis, he scored a goal. I liked his game today.
He scored a goal.
Second line.
He scored a goal, had a really good game. Jeff Blashill called it his best since he's been in town. This is how the Blackhawks head coach saw Lardis's performance tonight, his second game playing on the second line.
That was Nick's best game since he's been up. I thought he was. I've used him with good players throughout at different times. He's played a decent amount with Connor. Played a decent. I used him up the second half of last game in that kind of same spot. And this was the best he's played because he skated. So I thought he did a good job that way.
Hey, very weird concept. Gifted young player has best game of year playing with other gifted players. What a weird,
crazy
development we have going on at the United Center.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the idea of putting these players in a spot to thrive, and Nick Lardis got called up right before the trade deadline rather, and was put into a fourth line spot, and we all raised our eyebrows and said he's not that player, and I think he took it as a message, and I think it was a message of like, we want to see you play in situations that you're not normally in, just to see how you're going to grow in those roles. And given his play in that time, like he actually, I don't think he played that bad in that spot. We've seen other players previously put in spots where they're like, in an uncomfortable spot, like, hey, I'm usually top six, I'm usually power play, why am I playing on the fourth line? And they haven't played well. And therefore they haven't then played themselves into the trust of the coaching staff. And I think Lardis did that. And that's why last game, the second and third periods, he played on that second line with Bertuzzi and Nazar. And that's why he started this game with them. And he had a great game. You look at the game score metrics, he was at the top for the Hawks. Blashill saw it. Like that's what you want to see from these young guys. That's where you want to put them to progress and move forward. And there's definitely time for players to develop all aspects of their game. But as we see with Lardis, and I think we'll see with Frondell, like guys that have a high level talent. For Lardis, it's scoring ability. For Frondell, it's pretty much everything. But you want to put them where that high level talent can shine. So putting him with Nazar and Bertuzzi, I think clearly made a big difference for Lardis in this game.
Well, as I've calmed down from my fury earlier in the show, what I'm trying to do is like, okay, what am I missing? Like, there's got to be, like, Jeff Blashill's not an idiot. We know he's not an idiot, right? We've covered him all year. Most of the stuff he says makes perfect sense, except this one particular thing. All I can think is he's looking at the rest of his lines, and they're all working, right? Tavo had a really good game today. You've seen that line with Donato and Tavo create chances. They've been dangerous. They've been effective. They're a good checking line that you can play and get a little bit of scoring from. You finally got Frank Nazar scoring again, right? He's becoming, after the trade deadline passed, after the Olympic break, Nazar looks like the Nazar we're used to seeing. So, okay, don't want to take him and Bertuzzi away. Fine. You move Lardis up there. That makes all the sense in the world. So it's almost to me like Burakovsky's like the player without a spot.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but why keep him on the line with your best player?
Because I think he's just thinking there's nowhere else to put him.
He could sit next to us and eat popcorn.
Well, and maybe that's the answer when Boisvert and Frondell are here. But
I know.
I just don't.
No chance in hell.
No
chance in hell.
Yeah,
no chance in hell.
All right, there. Anyway, that's my theory. Sorry.
Thought we were
moving
punting.
on. I know I'm punting. I have repunted. I'm Todd Sauerbrunn. I'm punting over and over again. Look him up, kids.
Yeah. I think as we move forward here through these final couple games, I think we will see that lineup kind of shift into getting players back into the positions that they should be in. I think once Boisvert gets here, and it seems like it's maybe this upcoming week, who knows, that you might put him into that like fourth line center role, which is, in the last couple of games we've seen, like it's been like Sam Lafferty, but then Sam Lafferty's been scratched. And like, I think you put Boisvert in there, and that's kind of putting him into a role where he probably his game can fit that kind of mold, at least to start here these final few games. And then I think we should see Lardis continue to be up in the top 6 or at least third line. We'll see Frondell playing on the top line. Like those are the spots that you envision those players being in now and into the future. So I think as the lineup kind of shuffles with these additions, we'll see that moving forward. And with Green potentially playing center, like, okay, that gives you a guy that you could play in the third line center. I know Blashill last game didn't really have an update on Oliver Moore, but I don't think you rule him out for the season. I think there might be a chance that he comes back to close the year. So then again, that's another player that you shuffle into the line. Like we saw him playing third line center. We've seen him playing up in the top 6 before. Like I think down the middle, you'll see these young guys just kind of start to come in. And yeah, you'll have to have some, if all those guys are in play, you'll have to have some conversations about Mangiapane and Slaggert. And I think you could throw Burakovsky into that conversation of like who shuffles out with these young guys coming in. That's just my opinion on it.
No, the more things that would surprise me. I mean, who knows, right? At this point when we know, like, we don't know the severity of it, but when we're talking about 4 weeks before evaluation, there's how many weeks left in the season. Are you going to rush a guy back when you've already got 2 young players you're trying to find space for? I don't know. We'll see. I'm all for everyone young playing. By all means, bring them on. All right. What else do we need to know about what else do we learn today post game?
The other thing that was newsworthy was Matt Grzelcyk. Whatever happened to him, wrist, arm, something, whatever happened to him is going to keep him out for the road trip. Jeff Blashill said that he's not expected to go on the road trip. So that leaves them 6 healthy defensemen with Ethan Del Mastro into the fold. So I wonder if Kevin Korchinski comes back up for the road trip. So we'll see about that. But you can kind of take Grzelcyk out of that equation, which stinks because he's been a reliable guy all season.
More kids, bring them on.
I'm excited for the start of the Derek Pouliot era on Tuesday night. Cool. Cannot wait for that. That's going to be a blast.
Sure.
All right, Mario. Thanks, man. We will talk to you. We're off tomorrow. We'll talk to you Tuesday.
Sounds good.
All right. That's Mario Tirabassi from the UC. Follow him on Twitter at Mario_Tirabassi. We've got to award our Game Day Men's Health Game Puck winner. It is Connor Bedard. What was the you got a final percentage, Chloe? Somewhere it was a big one, right? It was a blowout.
73% for Bedard, 18% for Lardis.
With 18, Levshov with 9. Better father, better husband, better man. Go to Game Day Men's Health. Visit GameDayCHGO.com to find locations
the lesson
closest to you.
I learned from that poll. Sorry to interrupt the read there.
We don't need mine.
Whatever.
I'm not trying to bring anybody back or anything. Just interrupt the reads.
That's fine. Again, can't fire me if I don't work here.
We can't hire you if you talk over the reads, jerk. Go.
Maybe if you didn't take so long. The one thing I learned from that poll, don't be on the ice for the overtime goal against. You might get more votes.
Perhaps.
See, that was worth the $9 I just cost us.
I think so, too. Game Day Men's Health understands. Game Day Men's Health. GameDayCHGO.com.
Better men, better pizza, better health.
All right, Super Chats. Joshua Bauman, $2 says Blashill and Davidson have both been great, in my opinion. Thank you, Joshua.
Yeah, we're getting upset with Blashill. I think, again, big picture, he's been really good.
Big picture.
But this one aspect has been super frustrating, and just because he's been stubborn, and that's fine. Hopefully come October, we're not mad about Andre Burakovsky.
We saw a little bit of resignation from him where he's like, yeah, he's got to produce. A little bit of acknowledgement because he knew the question was coming.
We just got to just keep asking him about it because he's obviously starting to get frustrated about it. So if you do what we keep asking you about, maybe we won't ask you anymore.
And if we're wrong, you dunk on us. How fun would that be?
I mean, it happens every day.
All right, $10 from Green Eyes. Can Connor go to Blashill and tell him he wants who he wants for line mates. Like, can he tell him he wants Green to stay in his line? I'm sure he could.
He can.
It doesn't strike me as the kind of thing Connor would do, and maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he really likes Burakovsky, and maybe he just doesn't. Maybe
yes,
who knows?
I'm sure he loves the guy that skates the puck in the zone and doesn't get it to him.
I don't know. I wish I could understand. We're going to go to overtime real quick, not for too long, but if you're watching on the Fast Channel, switch over to allchgo.com. Spriggies or S. Priggies or Spriggies says, you just got rid of it, Chloe. Jesus.
Nice job. All that time for the name, and we can't even get to the chat.
$10 says, is coach leaving Andre Burakovsky with Bedard because most of the prospects we have up are bottom 6 players, and he wants them to be comfortable in the position they're going to be in the future.
I mean, that kind of leads to what you were saying earlier about how he's got
somewhere else to put him.
He's got people in the right spot, so why put someone out of their right spot for the last 15 games of a, not meaningless season, but a season that, is not going to the playoffs? That does make sense. But again, 2 goals in 33 games.
It's hard, man. Like it's hard.
It's a tough.
It's
spot.
hard to produce that little with Connor Bedard.
It is. It's very tough.
Like, you can't tell me like
Ryan Donato got 31 goals playing with Connor Bedard.
Yes,
and $16 million. But they didn't win a lot of games, according to Jeff.
I don't. I would. Someone asked me on Twitter today, like, is Burakovsky going to get bought out?
I doubt it. It'd be nice.
I don't know. It wouldn't shock me, but they do need. They got to hit the cap floor. Bedard's new contract will help there. Hopefully, you go get somebody this summer, as I wrote about for ALLCITY.com this week. So there's some salary bumps there. But I don't know, man. I'm just. There's not more to say about it. There's just not. There's nothing more that we have flapped gums about Andre Burakovsky for way too long.
I agree.
I understand it's frustrating, but
I'm kind of looking forward to not being on the next 4 post-game shows. So I don't have to talk about. I'm going to miss you guys dearly, but getting a full week off and not having to talk about Andre Burakovsky, I'm in.
I'm going to text you at 2 a.m. Andre Burakovsky thoughts.
That's fine. Yep. I'll read them when I wake up the following morning.
All right. We'll talk to everybody on Tuesday. We have Hawks and Islanders. Could that be Anton Frondell's debut? Will Sasha Blaver ever play hockey for the Blackhawks? Tune in at 5:30 on the pregame show to find out on CHGO Blackhawks.
We all silly like the mayor.